Today it's how I almost quit guitar playing and how I later found my motivation and what you can learn from all of this. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. Today I'm talking about how I almost quit guitar playing completely and how I found my motivation after that, and the lessons that you can learn from all of this. This is part one of a series that deals with how I learned to play guitar. I often get asked questions in that style, like how did you learn to play guitar, how did you learn to shred, or something along those lines. So I thought I'd talk a bit about that. I think some of these things are really important if you want to learn how to play guitar, or even if you know how to play guitar, how to become better. So this first video goes way back to the beginning. I basically almost quit before I'd properly even started, and a lot of people do that. I probably can't count the number of students that I've had in elementary school who've said that they've played an instrument and they've quit after a year or two. It's just an enormous amount. And that's partly, guitar can be a difficult instrument to learn, as can any other instrument, especially in the beginning. But for me, the reasons were actually, I was so interested in guitar. I walked around. This is when I got my first guitar when I was 11. It took a while before I started taking lessons, but even before I was 11 I was singing Brian May's guitar solos, so my parents thought that an electric guitar might be something for the little kid. So I got one and I did this. Yes, I didn't know what to do with my left hand, so I got a teacher. And my first teacher, he was a very nice person, well-intentioned and all that, but he was a bit problematic. And he was really probably the main reason why I almost quit. I'm not laying all the blame on him, some of the blame is on me, for sure. But still, what I was interested in doing was this. My favorite guitar players at the time were people like Gary Moore and Yngwie Malmsteen. Okay, I know I was tapping there. Neither of them are known for that, but still. He wanted to show me basic chords, and that's fine because I was a beginner, yes. But he also tried to get me to learn to sight read, which I was definitely not into. And he basically said one thing which boils it all down. He said, don't bother with that playing fast stuff. You won't get any gigs that way. And I was like 12. Now, fair enough, I get the point. That stuff doesn't really help with getting lots of gigs. But the point wasn't to get gigs. The point was that I loved the idea of playing this instrument, and he totally messed it up. Yes, he was well-intentioned and all that. And that really, it was this close. I actually informed my mom, said I'm quitting. That was after the first year, and she persuaded me to keep going a second year, and if it didn't work then I could quit. The thing is, I kept going a second year and then I changed teachers because my first teacher was ill right towards the end of the second year, and he had a substitute teacher in who asked me what I wanted to play, and I said Gary Moore. And he said, okay, let's see your right hand. And he corrected my pick, how I held my pick, and because I was dropping it a lot. And I was like, this is actually properly interesting and helpful stuff. And that's the beginning of where I finally found my motivation. So I'd come this close to quitting. And I can't remember if I was on the verge of just giving up after the second year, but that substitute teacher, I remember him, I had him 2 weeks, I think. He put some kind of spark in me. And right about the same time, I met who was to become my teacher, my second proper teacher, Sasha, who I've mentioned on the channel. He does the luthier stuff for me as well. And so I changed teachers. He took me on as a student, and he was a properly good guitar player, still is. And he asked me the same thing as the substitute teacher had. what do you want to play? And for me that was like, after 2 years with that one very nice, very well-intentioned guy, who shall remain nameless, someone was asking me what I wanted, instead of saying, you shouldn't bother with that. So I said, I want to play Gary Moore. And this led me to two things. First off, Sasha said you should, well, he gave me this to practice. And he said, you can dig up your own variations of this or make up your own variations of this. And I looked up the Steve Vai 30-hour guitar exercise, which contained this, I think. And so on. And that kind of sets off something in me where I kind of practiced that non-stop because I wanted to become faster. And he also said, if you want to do Gary Moore, you need your bends and vibrato to be in order. So, and combine the two. And that really set me off on the correct path, because suddenly someone took an interest in what I wanted to play and showed me stuff that was actually stuff that I wanted to play, or at least could say why this is important. And I practiced, well, most of the time. I changed teachers somehow towards the end of the second year, so that I went on my summer holidays after just having a few lessons with Sasha, and I really didn't practice the vibrato too much during my summer holidays. And he gave me, well, he basically shouted at me and scared the living daylights out of me, and then I really practiced my vibrato, and that's it. So what's the moral of this story? You need to be playing something that you want to play in order to progress. You can keep going with stuff that you don't want to play for a while, but that takes a lot of willpower and discipline. And sure, you can suddenly find that actually this thing that I didn't want to do, now I want to do because I've kept going so long. Yes, I know. But still, it's so much easier when you have something that you actually really want to do. And if you have a teacher who does not give that opportunity to you, then there's something wrong. There's something you should think about. If you can find a teacher who will ask you what you want to play and can actually show you what it is that you should be doing, then that is worth, it's priceless. Most teachers fall in between somewhere, and yeah, a teacher is a good thing to have, but only if he or she inspires you and can teach you. So that was really where the whole journey started. Simple exercises and interest from the teacher. Yeah, so that's part one. So subscribe and hit that bell notification thing so you don't miss out on part two. If you want to watch more of my lessons, there are playlists here. There's a playlist here, and there's a playlist with some of my music if you want to check that out. Click like if you liked the video. Please do share it, and join me on Patreon because you get access to all my music, to my Guitar Academy, and you can even take that stuff for free. There's a link in the description. I hope you find this useful, or found this useful, and I hope you have a nice day. Take care. Bye!